Hi folks, it's Nikki from Hexagon and we're here with another of our International Women's Day interviews with the WIFM committee. I'm here with Anita Moore today. Anita's from Principal Clean. Morning, Anita.
Morning, Nikki.
How you doing?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, really good, thank you. Anita is my trusty secretary on the WIFM committee. She keeps me in check and makes sure that I've done everything and beats me with a big bloody stick. But everybody needs that. Well, I definitely need that anyway. I get so excited and I keep starting to pick up different things and she's like, woohoo, back, have you done this? So Anita, thank you. Firstly, thank you for being a great secretary for me. But I would love you to tell us what you do for Principal. What's your role?
So I'm a business development manager for Principal Cleaning. I've been with Principal 5.5 years. I'm very lucky to be there. We're a cleaning firm in London. We concentrate on the London market, and my role is new business, but also retenders and a bit of client retention work as well. It's very hands-on.
Good stuff. You say you're lucky to be there. They're lucky to have you because you are bloody good at your job as well. So we'll just have a little reframe of that there. So I've got a few questions to ask you, and I hope that you're happy to share with us. What differences would you say that you found in your role since COVID?
I think there's been positives as well as negatives. On the positive side, we've proven that we can work from home and still put out the quality of tenders and bids with the team. The physical side of meeting up with clients, I think people talk about Zoom fatigue, but I've found a mixture of both. I've actually found that with Zoom or Teams or whatever you use, actually you're getting closer to the client because you're sitting in essence, you're sitting in someone's living room or dining room, and it's much more flexible because when you go for a meeting, obviously you've got to allow travel time. So in some ways, there are benefits as well. I don't think it's necessarily lost because you're more one-to-one with the client on a lot of occasions. So it's good to understand what they can be more open with, and you can help them.
Yeah, I definitely think it swings and roundabouts. Obviously, I've cut down on my travel because I was backwards and forwards from London all the time, and but I do think, and this is probably down to my poor planning. I do think you need to actually book breaks in between it because if you've had a day where you've gone from literally one meeting straight to the next, it just drains the life out of you. And you get to the end of the day feeling like you've done a 20-hour day.
I think you need to block out your diary because sometimes I find a lot of my work is written and administration, and if people see a clear diary, it doesn't mean you can get still got deadlines to meet. Yeah. So I do block some time out. Sometimes, when you're near a tender deadline or what have you, it can get overlapped.
I think with us, because we're quite reactive to when people phone us as well, because it's a case of like, if you don't answer the call, then will that candidate call back again?
Yeah.
Or if we don't answer the phone, will the client want to phone back when they're busy as well? Because obviously everybody's up against it in our industry at the moment, aren't they? So it's that fine balance, and I've still not found that yet, to be honest. That's something that I definitely need to work on. So what advice would you give to people that are returning to the office that are a little bit concerned about returning to the office?
I would say speak to your workplace manager, your facilities manager, and your HR. The thing is, what you won't know where you've been working from home in your bubble. There's lots of work going on behind the scenes in the industry that you might not be aware of. Cleaning regimes, obviously I have a bias towards cleaning, but there's been lots of work going on in that industry. But it's not just that. You've got your one-way systems, and if you're not sure, speak to your FM, because I know they will be doing everything they can to respect the social distancing, keep you safe, and it once you return to work and you see that, you'll probably feel better about it. Obviously they can't do everything about your travel to work, but the undergrounds, and if you look into all the cleaning studies and things, that they're using products and there's no cases now from the underground, it's you know, it's really, if you're unsure, just ask, because there's so much work in the industry going behind the scenes, and we want, you know, people back, because work is, if anything, it's being in the office is part of our social life. It's part of our purpose, and it's about finding the right balance. I don't think people will go back full time ever again, but you know, it's finding the balance, isn't it? That's the long and short of it.
Yeah, it is actually a really important part of the culture, isn't it? And you'll probably find that once you go back to work, you'll see that it's a lot safer than a trip to the supermarket where everyone's just all over the place. That definitely the
Absolutely.
supermarkets up here and that everyone's that focused on what they're getting that
Yeah.
like just right up in your face. I've had to tell a few people, excuse me, can you
Yeah.
move a couple of meters?
Reverse. Yeah.
Back up.
Yeah.
So, what products and services have you seen that have impressed you the most?
So I think
Not just around COVID, around like your whole career, like what if you could say like one thing that's really impressed you the most that you
I think
thought,
the future for the industry, and I think there's probably a lot of crossover between the sectors, but it's all about footfall and data management, all of
yeah,
those sort of tech, you know, not doing something for something's sake, but using data and capturing data so the resources are, you know, are there at the right time.
yeah,
There's lots that, you know, you have Condeco have their meeting room things. We've got our own product, and you know, all those different functions, if you like.
yeah,
Security have the different functions, and it's actually about working where the need is based on the
yeah.
footfall. And I think that's
Rather
going to
than
be key.
traditional, this
Yeah,
many hours, you must be here these certain
yeah,
times. Like, actually, no one's in the building during that time. Why is there somebody there? Let's
yeah,
give an extra hour to the peak periods and
yeah,
stuff.
absolutely. And I think that's going to be key moving forward, because occupancy levels are going to be up and down until we reach a plateau. And actually, what's quite interesting when you talk about it, a lot of businesses, let's say they might, you know, anywhere between 50 and 60% occupancy, they were never at 100 anyway, you
Yeah,
know. So that's going to, we can't just say, right, we've had a pandemic, clients give us more money, you know. It's about working together. And I think if you're on the other side of it, the more information you give us, the more we can help. You know, it's
yeah.
twofold.
I think I've found definitely talking to my clients, I've found that been a massive shift where clients have actually said, we've realised that actually this working from home thing's working, but we know that we need to go back and get a balance.
Yeah,
And there's so many clients that I know where they've actually given a whole floor back, and they're actually starting to encourage more in the regionalised hubs, which is
oh,
better from a
that's going
talent
to be a trend.
perspective. Yeah, better from a talent perspective because it means that they're opening up their talent pool a lot
Mm.
wider than what they would before, and and that people aren't spending hours and hours driving to London and or driving all the way up to Manchester and
Yeah,
stuff. So that's been really positive, and it'd be quite interesting to see how the portfolios change though with all that additional office space.
yeah,
Whether we start to see lots of change of use come in now, because otherwise they're going to have loads of prime real estate especially in London
mm.
that's being given back. And if people are not actually ever wanting to come back full time, I'm wondering if we'll start to see where companies perhaps align with other businesses where they've got shared values or like complementary service and start to see people share office spaces. That's one that I want to watch out for.
So
To see lots.
co-working is definitely
So
on the
not
up.
necessarily like a WeWork or
Yeah,
what's the one that
that's
you
definitely there's.
just where two companies come together and say, actually, let's work together on this, and not only can we share the space, but we can also perhaps do some reciprocal work together. That's one of the things that I'd perhaps like to see. It's something that we definitely looked at as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, so interesting times. Right, so we're back with part two now after we were rudely interrupted by Alexa, who's on Anita's side that felt that she was part of the Whitlam team. It's usually actually my Alexa that randomly pops up, so I'm glad it wasn't mine, but I've just unplugged mine as well. And that's so the joys of working from home and modern technology. You get extra team members where you haven't actually asked for then. Let's
But
go
she
back
is a lady.
That's it, yeah, she's a lady in tech. So let's go back to your biggest frustration. What's your biggest frustration personally, and how did you overcome it?
I think my biggest frustration is I'm passionate about what we do, and I think sometimes I'm probably over passionate, which is you know, you expect people to be the same as you, and they're not always going to be there. And sometimes you offer help, and I think sometimes I support over and above, and you don't always get it in return. So how do I overcome that? I still carry on being me, still support, but you know, sometimes you have to take a step back and you know, just accept that just because people aren't the same as you, it doesn't mean there's something wrong with you.
Yeah, I think that's something that comes up frequently, and I will say to people, like, if you're doing the right thing, don't change yourself because of other people not giving the same. Change your tribe. I've had a couple of instances where, if I say more than a couple, we're getting a lot of applicants from a certain FM provider that is quite a toxic culture, and these people are like proper grafters, really good at their job, and really experienced, and they're coming to us saying that they want to come out of the FM industry because of how they're being treated, and we're having to explain to them, actually, don't waste everything that you've put your effort in, because fundamentally you love the job. Change your tribe. You're in the wrong place with the wrong culture, and you just need to reposition and get a role outside of that culture. And that's really, really sad to see, because that can have a really big impact on people. Because like you said, our industry is a sector that people don't do it for the crack, because you've got to be all in or all out in FM. People are in facilities management because they give us stuff about giving a great experience to people. So they tend to be people that do care deeply, and they do care passionately, and don't ever apologise for that passion, because it's what makes you great at your job. And that I know that if I ask you to do anything, that like you're just fully immersed in it and you give it everything, and I know that I can trust you to do whatever you say you're gonna. I don't have to check up or anything. And so I think it's just about aligning yourself to your right tribe, isn't it? What would you say are your biggest frustrations with the industry? This is your final question.
I think on a positive, my biggest frustrations have always been cleaning being recognised as an FM service, but I think that's on the change now. The other industry bodies like the CSSA and the British Institute, they're working so hard, and the British Cleaning Council are working so hard to get cleaning recognised. And now with COVID, if there is one positive to come out of COVID, it is how important cleaning is to you know, to the FM industry. And at the end of the day, it's the biggest spend on any FM contract. It's the most labour intensive. So actually, let's you know, value the cleaners that are on the shop floor doing the roles that, you know, we wouldn't necessarily want to, and let's give them opportunities and really, you know, if make them part of FM and workplace.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, definitely. And that is the one positive thing to come out of it, is really shone a light on the FM sector. It'd be nice if they actually recognise what they're doing as facilities management, and that, because the wider there's the challenges around other business, isn't it? Understanding what facilities management is and how vital it is for businesses to keep running. And I think it's taken something like COVID for people to even become aware of it, let alone recognise the importance. Excellent. Do you have any parting comments or advice of people for people that you'd say for people coming up in their careers at the moment that are facing challenges within their industry, or challenges around gender bias, that sort of thing, stereotyping?
I hope that, you know, gender bias isn't there and it's not prevalent like it was. I mean, for me, just, you know that you know, it is about, if you're passionate about it, keep at it. You know, and there's lots of roles. Don't think because you do one thing, say you're in ops, that you couldn't go into sales, or vice versa. We're all different characters and we all have different specialisms, but there is a wide amount of roles. If it's health and safety, if the environment's your thing and you're passionate about it, look for their roles. You don't have to be, for me in my career, I've done operations, I've done sales, I've done bid writing. You know, if something gets your interest, not always an upwards move straight away. You don't have to follow that path. You can go sideways move to get
diagonally.
to get more experience.
Yeah.
And also, you know, if you get the opportunity to study, make sure you've got time to do it. But if your company is offering you that, take it.
Yeah.
Take it.
It doesn't happen everywhere, does it?
No.
So grab it with both hands.
It's not always possible. For different companies of different sizes have different budgets. But, you know, if you get offered it, grab it with both hands. Even if you don't think it's particularly relevant to you, experience is everything. And if even say I work in sales and I was offered a disciplinary course, it's good for me to know, because it means anything I know, I understand more about what I'm writing about, or, you know,
it doesn't also mean not pigeonholed to stay in sales, that you could switch back to ops if you wanted to. I would take that one stage further and say, actually, don't just wait to be asked and offer the training. Ask your boss what training you could do, because one of our biggest things is that we don't ask for the opportunities, and that affects women more than men. Men are quite happy to actually say, I want to go on this course, I want to do this, I want to do that. Women wait to be asked, and it's a mindset thing. So I would say, actually ask, what do I need to do to get to the next role? What are the other pathways that are open to me? And how can I do that? How can I learn off someone else? Can I go and spend a couple of hours with somebody else to shadow them? So
the one final thing I would say is, don't worry about what everyone else is doing.
Absolutely.
Concentrate on you and what you want.
Yeah, and what you want to achieve. Definitely. Good advice there, Nate. Good advice as always. Well, thank you ever so much for joining me today to go through the questions. I hope this resonates with some of the people in the audience. If you've got any questions for Nita about cleaning, please feel free to drop her a line. She'll be linked in the message, and she'll be happy to help you with that. If you want any advice or you want to follow her, send her an invite on LinkedIn. I'm sure she'll be happy to connect. So thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks, Nikki.
Thanks,
Have a good day. Bye.
Bye.